Have you ever asked yourself, why is my hair still falling out even though I've tried everything? You're using the shampoos, taking the biotin, and maybe even switching your pillowcase. But the shedding won't stop, and in some spots, it's getting worse. Well, here's the hard truth. Hair loss doesn't fix itself just because you want it to. In fact, there are a few silent culprits behind it that most women never hear about until it's too late. In this video, we're breaking down the 5 biggest reasons your hair loss isn't improving and what actually works to stop it based on real causes, not gimmicks. And stick around till the end, because the last reason is something that could be the key to getting your hair back. Let's begin at the root, because that is where hair growth really begins. One of the reasons your hair loss isn't getting better is due to poor scalp health. When your scalp isn't healthy, your hair doesn't stand a chance. Years of product buildup, excess oil, dead skin cells, and even mild inflammation can clog the hair follicles, making it harder for new strands to grow. And the strands that do manage to grow often come in weaker, finer, and fall out more easily. This happens more often than we think, especially as we age. Our skin gets drier, our scalp produces less natural oil, and circulation to the scalp slows down. So even if you're washing your hair regularly, your scalp might not be getting the deep care it needs. It might not look obviously dirty, but there are signs to watch out for. If your scalp feels tight, constantly itchy, flaky, or oily by the end of the day, it's likely in distress. And when your scalp isn't thriving, your hair simply can't grow the way it used to. A simple, effective fix. Start with a gentle scalp massage. It's one of those small habits that make a big difference over time. Massaging your scalp helps boost blood flow, which wakes up those sleepy follicles. It also helps loosen buildup and tension you might not even realize you're holding up there. You can do this with your fingertips or use a soft silicone scalp brush. For added nourishment, try rosemary oil mixed with a carrier oil like jojoba or sweet almond. Just a few minutes, 2 to 3 times a week, can really encourage healthier roots. Plus, it feels calming, almost like a reset after a long day. Well, healthy hair doesn't just come from what we put on our heads. It's deeply connected to what's happening inside our bodies, especially the nutrients we may not be getting enough of. Even if you're eating balanced meals, your hair has very specific nutritional needs. And as we get older, especially past 50, our bodies start absorbing nutrients differently. You might be doing everything right on paper, but your hair still isn't getting what it needs to grow and stay strong. Hair is made of protein, but it also relies heavily on vitamins and minerals like iron, vitamin D, zinc, and B12. If your levels dip too low in even just one of these, your body shifts into what's often called survival mode. That means your energy goes to more essential systems like your heart, your brain, and your digestion. Hair growth gets pushed to the back of the line. And here's the tough part. Most women don't realize they're deficient until they notice their hair falling out. It doesn't always show up as fatigue or weakness. Sometimes the only clue is in your brush, or the way your part looks a little wider than it used to. The best way to find out is through a full blood test. You can ask your doctor to check your ferritin, which measures stored iron, vitamin D, zinc, B12, and thyroid levels. These are often the missing links in unexplained hair thinning, especially during or after menopause. But if testing isn't an option right now, a solid place to start is with a high-quality multivitamin that's specifically made for hair, skin, and nails. Look for one that includes biotin, zinc, and a gentle form of iron, like iron bisglycinate, which is easier on the stomach and better absorbed. While many women focus on diet, products, or even medication to fix hair loss, the role of stress is often overlooked. And yet, for so many women over 50, it's the missing piece of the puzzle. Stress isn't just something that lives in your mind, it settles into the body, often in subtle and stubborn ways. You can't always see it in the mirror, but your hair knows when you're carrying too much. When you're constantly in a state of pressure, whether it's from caregiving, work, finances, health concerns, or just the everyday demands of life, your body starts to prioritize survival. And in that mode, growing and maintaining hair becomes less important to your system than managing stress hormones and keeping your organs functioning. And the thing is, the body doesn't differentiate between types of stress: emotional stress, physical exhaustion, grief, lack of sleep. It all counts, so even if you've gotten used to pushing through the tough days, your hair may still be responding to the pressure. To help your body shift out of stress mode, the key is resetting your nervous system. That means slowing things down, even for just 10 minutes a day, to signal to your brain that you're safe and supported. This doesn't have to look like a full lifestyle overhaul. Small, manageable practices make a real difference. Deep breathing exercises, slow walks in nature, stretching before bed, or a short guided meditation can ease your system into a calmer state. Even journaling or simply drinking a cup of tea without a screen in front of you can create a moment of peace. Once stress is under control and your body starts to feel more balanced, you might expect your hair to follow. But healing from hair loss often takes time. It's a slow rebuild, not an overnight change. And for many women, even after addressing internal factors like hormones and stress, something still feels off. That's when it's time to look at how you're treating your hair on the outside. Heat styling, hair dye, keratin treatments, bleaching, perms, even tight ponytails or rollers. These are things many of us have done for decades. Some of them even felt necessary. For some, it's about covering greys or keeping a sleek look for work or just feeling put together, and there's no shame in that. But as our hair naturally becomes finer, drier, and more fragile with age, these practices can cause a level of damage that adds up over time. The protective outer layer of the hair, called the cuticle, begins to wear down. The inner shaft becomes exposed. That leads to frizz, breakage, split ends, and in some cases, hair that snaps right off before it can grow long or strong. For women with fine, thinning, or grey hair, this becomes even more important. Grey strands tend to be more coarse and dry, and they don't hold up to heat or chemicals the same way pigmented hair once did. Even a flat iron on medium heat can be too much for fragile ends. The good news is that a few small changes can make a noticeable difference. Start by reducing heat where you can. If you usually blow dry every day, try air drying once or twice a week. When you do use heat, always apply a high-quality heat protectant spray or cream. It creates a barrier between your hair and the tool, which helps reduce direct damage. Weekly deep conditioning treatments can also help restore moisture and protect the outer layer of the hair. Look for ones with protein, ceramides, or nourishing oils like argan or coconut. These help strengthen the strand and improve elasticity, which is what prevents snapping and thinning at the ends. Even small adjustments can have a big impact when they're done consistently. Your hair remembers how you treat it, but what happens when you've cleaned up your scalp, boosted your nutrition, balanced your hormones, managed your stress, and the hair is still falling out, patchy, or thinning faster than before? That's when it's time to look deeper, because something else may be going on beneath the surface. If your hair is thinning rapidly in patches, or if your eyebrows and lashes are also starting to look sparse, it could be something deeper and possibly autoimmune related. Conditions like alopecia areata, lupus, or even an undiagnosed thyroid imbalance are known to trigger sudden or unusual hair loss. In some cases, it's also tied to gut health, nutrient absorption issues, or chronic inflammation in the body. When the shedding feels sudden, extreme, or just not like your usual pattern, it's important not to wait it out or guess. Make time to see a dermatologist or trichologist. They can examine your scalp up close, assess the health of your follicles, and run the right lab tests to find out what's really going on underneath the surface. Hair loss is often a symptom and not a root issue. And the earlier you get answers, the better your chances of managing it and getting your hair back on track. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one change you've made recently that's actually helped your hair? Share your story in the comments. You never know who might read it and feel a little less alone. And if you loved watching this video, this next one is definitely made for you.